afternoon, guys. How's everybody? Where am I today? I'm deep in the woods. There's a river. Say the river. At Paradise. So I have a theory and I wanted to try to explain it. I've been thinking about this. Remember 2 days ago I did that Chinese market one and video, and I talked about at the end, right at the end, I talked about depression. So I got some crazy amazing comments, and a lot of you guys told me about some of the things that you've been through, and I was just thinking. It's like a washing machine going around my head about all different bits of information. So today I wanted to talk about my interpretation of what depression is. So how is this going? You know, if you were born into a beautiful, loving family, then you have a basis to live from. If you don't, then life is very difficult to, how to get started. Like, how do you have a relationship with somebody outside of your family if you didn't have a good relationship with somebody in your family? So, you know, I didn't get a good start, but my father, if you look at, okay, I told you the other day, my father was an abusive alcoholic. So, why was he an abusive alcoholic? Well, his mom died. There was 3 brothers. His mother died when he was 9 years old. She died of TB in Philadelphia. So he was then put in an orphanage by his father because he didn't want to look after the kids, or couldn't, I don't know. I was told he didn't want the kids, but you know, he had girlfriends and they didn't want the kids around and things like that. So he was in the orphanage still at 18, and then joined the Navy and become basically an alcoholic, and spent his whole life drinking. And he was friendly with everybody in the bar, but not friendly at home. So that makes life a little bit difficult. And I can say, male and female people have commented saying the exact same thing. So what does that have to do with depression? Well, I think it looks like this. If you can imagine being down here by the river, right? And the river's low and you try to walk in the mud, what happens? You get yourself stuck. And I think that's exactly what happens, you know, with depression, or with us. As you go through life and life deals you some bad hands, it sort of stops you and you get stuck in the mud. And if it just keeps coming and coming and coming, the garbage keeps coming, you're trying to get out of it, but you're wallowing around in this mud, and you get thicker and thicker and stuck in it until eventually you just can't see clearly. You know, you're covered in mud and you can't see the direction to get out. And I really think that's what depression's like. You know, when I was married the first time, I found out, well, I knew she was messing for a long time. But I said to myself that I wanted to stay as a family until my youngest one was 16. I felt I owed that to him because I know what I'd went through. But in the end, I just said, I can't do it. She just kept going, you know, more and more relationships, more and more mess, more and more drama, spending all my money. I was always broke. I said, okay, that's enough. I asked her to leave. And actually, you know, if I'd have just said to her right from the beginning, leave, I wouldn't have had to give her any of my money when I left the green clothes. But in the UK, you have to do that. So I wasted so many years, and so painful. So you can say I was stuck in that mud. And it took, afterwards, you know, I had to go to the doctor, and he says, you have asthma. And I says, huh? I never had asthma in my life. He says, well, according to the chest x-ray, you have asthma. And he gave me the asthma medicine so I could breathe. And I'll tell you how bad it was. They give you Ventolin, which is the blue one, a light blue one. Then there's a dark blue one, I think, or the other way around. Light blue first and then dark blue. And then you go to light brown and dark brown. Well, I was up to dark brown. The light brown, a light blue was you know, opened your lungs up. The blue one, the dark blue one was stronger. The light blue one was a steroid that actually opened them up, and the dark blue one was even stronger. And they said, if this don't work, you're going to have to start getting taking tablets or injections or something. I can't remember now. And basically after about a year, it all went away. So what is that? I got out of the mud. You know, so I got rid of her, and then I got out of the mud. But it took a year for my body, because of stress, to release that. Right? And then I said I would never get married again. And then I met somebody, and we were together for, I think, like a couple of years. I can't remember now. A couple of years. And I could tell you all the details, but basically I got married again. Stupid fool. Anyway, I got married again, and same thing happened. She did the same thing, and this one, luckily no children, and this went on for like a year. And I said, that's it. So I just said to her one day, I'm leaving. And she says, okay, where are you gonna go? I says, I'm going to Thailand. And she's like, I said, I'm going. And then the day I asked her to take me to the airport, and I got to the airport, and I says, I'm not coming back. And she says, I thought you were going to say that. And I'm like, but you know, I never got angry. Well, in the early days when I first found out, I was very, very, very angry. And you know, I'm not a violent person, but I could have been. A couple times I could have been, but I never did, never. So, but I can say there was a mental battle going on in my head to remain calm. And in the end, she did what she wanted to do. She just kept doing it, male and female, which didn't make any difference to me. It was already too late. But I didn't want to give up my home in America. You can see on one of my videos, my home in America. I didn't want to give that up. I spent 5 years of going crazy trying to make a beautiful home from a wreck. And I got it the way I wanted it. The fruit, I had like 13 fruit trees. They're producing fruit. I love where I live. So many deer walking out the woods. I got some pictures, I think I showed you it before, of this crazy big deer with a big massive antler standing by the pond, by the woods. And just like the perfect photography picture. And if I can find it, I'll show you it. But anyway, I just said to her, I'm not coming back. So guess what happened? I thought I just like brushed it off and walked away. I got to Thailand, I rented an apartment. Everything was still going good. You know, I was like, I went to the gym a few times. I was doing this, going around, looking at this, looking at that, sorting out my visa, got everything done. And I said, okay, I think I got it all done. Now I'm going to paint my apartment. I spoke to the landlady and said, can I paint the apartment? And she said, yes. So I said, okay. I started painting it, and I was stood on a stool, about 2 foot tall stool. What's that, about half a meter or something? Just less than. I stood on that, reaching up high, painting. And I felt okay. I thought nothing was wrong. And then what happened? My whole body locked up. I'm talking about, you know, if you ever have a cramp in your calf, my whole body did that. My back, my arms, my legs, everything. And I could not move. But the pain was like excruciating, is all I can say. It was like the massive cramp, but my whole body. So how do you wiggle your whole body? It just wouldn't release. So somehow, I don't know how I did it, I got off that table, or off the little cabinet I was stood on, and I walked around to the bed, and I couldn't sit down. In the end, I just had to fall over to get on the bed, so I could get off my feet. And all my legs and everything just like rock solid for about 10 minutes. I mean, I was just like, oh, like that. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And guess what that was? Stress. And for a few days it come and go, come and go, come and go. Anyway, luckily where I lived, just not far away, there was a guy who did massage, Thai massage, and he wasn't gentle at all, and he just like beat the crap out of me. And it took literally about a month to 2 months to get my muscles to relax properly. So what is that? I crawled out of the mud. I slowly started getting myself together. And so that's my story, okay? So I'm not saying all this to tell my story. I'm saying all this so that you have a basis, and I'm sure you understand your own story. So when everything looks like super terrible, you just have to find a way to crawl out of the mud. And once you get out of the mud, it's like trying to get your mind back. Because you know, if you want, I always say this about bodybuilding. I've done bodybuilding for years and years and years, like 20-some plus years. Not now, but I'm going to eventually, one day I'll get back into it. But wherever the mind goes, the body follows. So if the mind's all over the place, the body doesn't know what to do. You have to have this. This is like the captain of the ship. So if you have a super tanker, you have to have the captain at the top calling the shots, the manager, and the ship follows, okay? So how do you get out of, this is my understanding of how I got out of it, okay? I started meditating. And what is meditation? Meditation is basically calming the mind. So, you know, after years of heavy sports and bodybuilding and squatting, it's difficult to sit in the lotus position. But guess what I learned? You don't have to sit in the lotus position. You can lay on a bed. And the idea is, in Buddhism they call it monkey mind. The mind just wants to jump all over the place. So you have to calm the mind. And you don't have to do it forcefully. I mean, you can't do it forcefully anyway, but the idea is, you look at, it's like this, what I said yesterday, you take yourself out, the conscious mind sits on the cliff watching you walk by. So you watch yourself and you think, okay, what am I thinking about now and why? But don't dwell on it, just go, let it go. It doesn't matter if you figured it out or not, just, I don't want to think about that anymore. And at first it will not leave, it'll be like glue, stuck, it just won't go. But after a while you'll get used to it. Okay, now I don't want to see that, bye, goodbye, goodbye, and you just keep letting that stuff fall off. And eventually you get out of the mud, mentally, okay? You're out and your mind's clear. And will it happen in a week? In 10 minutes? No. You don't do this, don't say I'm going to do it every day. Just do it, but don't think about it, because if you set yourself a goal, then you'll say, I don't have time, I don't want to do it. But please, make time for yourself, because if you can do it in the mornings, at night, whenever you want to, at first you can sit there for maybe 30 seconds, and then maybe a minute, and then maybe 2 minutes. But after a while, if you keep doing it, you become like if you want, a master. And you know, there's different classes you can do. There's I went to, in Nepal, I did 10 days of meditating with Vipassana. I don't know how to spell that, but it's a form of meditation from Buddhism. 10 days sitting on my bum for like 14 hours a day. Not fun, but it helped. I mean, this was years later when I was in Nepal. And anyway, what I did was, I just kept doing it and kept doing it, and eventually you can do it, and it's actually very, very enjoyable. Really enjoyable. And I was in India doing it. And you know, you're sitting there, and you know you're meditating, you're just sitting there, and then one day I just like vanished and disappeared while I was meditating. Not physically, but in my mind. And when I come back, it was the most relaxing. I was sitting up on the edge of a bed, because my legs started cramping, and you're just sitting there and you're just gone. So, but if you do it for 30 seconds, lay on the bed with a pillow and comfortable however you feel, and you fall asleep, it doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. And you can practice this before you go to sleep. So if you calm your mind, then you'll have a deeper sleep. So you can basically read about it, go to YouTube and learn how to meditate. And what happens is, eventually the monkey mind calms down, your body will come back, your body follows the mind, and you just feel totally relaxed, and you'll be like a new person. And that's a brief snapshot of how I went from, this is after the second time, after how I got out of that mess. My body completely locked up. There was so much tension and stress in my body, and it took me a long time to release it. But this time, when I didn't meditate so much the second time, I went to the gym. and I lost myself in the gym. So that's how I did it the second time. First time, years and years and years and years of meditating, but it causes your body and your mind to change. You know, you hear this, I was triggered, somebody triggered me, or you know, somebody says something and it makes you angry. And the person closest to you is normally the one who can press your buttons, right, to send you off. This says something sarcastic and you just go crazy, right? Well, meditation can stop all that. So if somebody's nasty and rude, the more you meditate, the more you come to this calm place. And when people are nasty, you just go, and don't react. There's no reaction on the outside, no reaction on the inside. And you just like, so you're just so much more calm. Okay? I hope that helps somebody. So that's my interpretation of what depression is, get out of the mud, and how I did it 2 times. The first time was through meditation, and then years and years after, which brought me to a very calm, relaxed position. And the second time I went back to the gym, and once all that knottedness in my muscles left, I went back to the gym and focused on that. So I was able to, I had an escape. And you know, I was what, 59 when I stopped going, because I lived so far away from a gym. 59, and people said, are you sure you're 59? You look 40, because the muscles there, you know, I never used steroids, so the muscles stay, right? Okay guys, so I hope that helps somebody. I said that, I opened myself up, tell you my story for the reason to help somebody. Okay? Good night. Buckets of blessings. See you later. Rivers of peace, joy, and kindness flowing over you. And for those who need it, big hug. Bear hug. All the best, guys. See you later.